report came through a phone call to a non-emergency number, and they said security footage didn't match the report. Since then, students and employees have expressed concerns about the clarity and reliability of emergency communications during the incident, and the Faculty Senate reports discussing those concerns during a meeting on Tuesday. In a statement issued Tuesday, the university acknowledged, quote, some of its emergency messaging created confusion or concern. They added the university will use the event as an opportunity to strengthen its alert messaging protocols. Newswatch reached out to Eastern's public information coordinator Josh Reinhardt with questions about the alert and the university's response, but Reinhardt referred Newswatch back to the university's statement online and did not answer any additional questions. We also requested an interview with Eastern's police chief Marisol Gamboa, who told us she was not available this week or next. A man with a lengthy criminal history is arrested again in Coles County. Charleston police say 39-year-old Christopher Gast will be in court November 19th on charges of retail theft. They say Gast admitted to taking items from a store on East Street. Authorities say Gast was on pretrial release for a case involving damage to property. Online court records show Gast has been arrested 21 times with just as many convictions. Police say Gast has a history of failing to appear for court hearings and has made statements about reoffending if released from jail. Well, tonight he's back in jail pending a court appearance for his latest arrest.
A 19-year-old charged with killing a 17-year-old in Decatur last month has entered a not guilty plea. Nehemiah Myers is charged with 8 counts of murder and 1 count of aggravated battery following that shooting on East Wood Street October 24th. Court records show Myers appeared in court this morning and entered that plea. A judge also denied Myers pretrial release. He's scheduled for a pretrial hearing in January. A driver is safe after crashing into Lake Decatur this morning. Decatur police confirm a car went into the lake around 7:50 this morning. They say 2 officers went into the water and used flotation devices to help the driver. Officials say the officers were able to stand in the water while responding, and they say the driver was taken to a hospital with no serious injuries. Nationally, the House of Representatives is back in session, and lawmakers are expected to vote on a bill to reopen the government.
Julia Benbrook is at the White House with what to expect.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has to sell the package to his razor-thin GOP majority and will likely need President Donald Trump's help to push it through. That being said, GOP leadership remains confident that it will be able to get the Senate-backed bill across the finish line, which would bring the longest government shutdown in history to an end.
I just want to say that we're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen.
The chamber is voting on a stopgap measure that would reopen the government and keep it funded through January 30th, reverse the mass firings made by the Trump administration during the shutdown, and ensure that the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, will be funded for the rest of the fiscal year. What's not included, though, is causing frustration for many Democrats. They have been pushing to use this time to address health care, specifically an extension of enhanced Obamacare subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. While Senate Republicans promised a future vote on this, the House has not committed.
On December 31st, the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire, and dozens of House Republicans have been claiming over the last few weeks that they know that is something that needs to be addressed. And now we're going to have to see some action, or whether it was just talk from these House Republicans.
Now, if House Democrats vote against this version of the funding bill, Republicans can only lose 2 GOP votes and still push it through. It would then head to the president's desk for a signature. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
As we mentioned, the government shutdown is the longest in history. The House has not been in legislative session since September 19th. Well, it's the end of an era for America's smallest coin. After 238 years, the U.S. is minting its last 1-cent coin. Earlier this year, President Donald Trump announced that he ordered the nation to stop making the penny, saying that each one costs nearly 4 cents to create. Other coins, including the nickel, dime, and quarter, will remain in circulation. Although the penny already seems obsolete to some consumers, its removal is causing problems for some merchants who will now have to round prices either up or down. And dropping the penny will create a greater need for nickels, which are a more expensive coin to mint. Well, we do have a need for some warmer weather here in central Illinois, Ben.
We're definitely about to see that warmer weather this weekend, and I'll be back in a moment to talk about some near record temperatures.
The lead leaves are falling and the days are shorter. If this darker season has you feeling down, you're not alone.
Seasonal affective disorder is really just a feature of a major mood disorder like depression.
Clinical psychologist Craig Sawchuk with Mayo Clinic says symptoms of seasonal affective disorder come and go with a change in seasons and can include feeling sad, sometimes described as feeling blah. Limbs can feel heavy, there's low energy, and a tendency to want to sleep more. There may also be carbohydrate cravings and weight gain.
When those symptoms start to become more prominent, they start to cause problems in day-to-day living, then that's when we look at a difference between just having winter blues versus actually being a problem of clinical concern.
Sawchuk says focusing on lifestyle factors can help maintain a regular sleep schedule instead of being tempted to oversleep. Exercise can also help improve mood and health overall, and he says to stay connected.
Making sure that we're avoiding the avoidance and avoiding the withdrawal, making plans, being accountable with others, and healthy supports can be really helpful.
Light therapy can also help. Sawchuk says using a light box for about 20 to 30 minutes when you wake up can provide symptom relief. Cognitive behavioral therapy can also help, and there's always medicine.
The medications that we typically use in the treatment of non-seasonal depression, they can actually be very helpful here as well too.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Solar storms brought some colorful auroras to unexpected places, and there could be even more tonight. Space weather forecasters confirmed storms reached severe levels Tuesday night, triggering northern lights in several states, including in Illinois. People all over the area reported seeing colorful skies. Over the past few days, the sun has burped out several bursts of energy called coronal mass ejections. 2 have reached Earth so far, but at least 1 is still on the way and is expected to arrive this evening after sunset. Some advice: taking a picture of the northern lights with a smartphone can reveal hints of the aurora not visible to the naked eye. One thing is for sure, last night these auroras were very visible to the naked eye. As you can see from this photo given to us from our very own sports watcher, Matt Posner, beautiful clear skies and those auroras out in full strength last night. This photo was taken at Douglas Hart Nature Center in Mattoon. We do have a chance to see the auroras again tonight. It's not as great as last night, but a non-zero chance. We'll have more on that in just a moment. Highs today, 61 degrees for our high in Charleston. Our warmest temperature, 64 degrees for a few of us in Effingham and in Taylorville. Those conditions right now are already starting to cool off. Temperatures near 45 degrees in Paris already, 53 degrees in Charleston, and 57 degrees currently in Decatur. Now, overnight tonight, these lows will be getting down near the freezing point around the area, 33 in Charleston specifically. We did see a clear day today, but clouds are going to be moving in and out throughout the evening tonight. Winds will continue to stay lighter, only up to 15 miles an hour coming out of the west. Those winds will shift a little bit during the day tomorrow, but again, you do have that chance to see the northern lights or the aurora borealis this evening. The green line is where the aurora is going to be at its strongest, and in Charleston, you see this blue line here is where it's just barely visible on the horizon. So we do have a smaller chance of seeing the aurora than we did last night. And of course, with those clouds moving in and out, it's going to be difficult, but not impossible to see those auroras out there tonight if you're going to be out and looking. 61 degrees for your high in Charleston tomorrow. Again, these winds are going to be staying calm throughout the morning, but eventually strengthening from the south. That's going to continue to fuel our warm-up that we're seeing over the next couple of days. Clouds sporadically moving in and out throughout the day tomorrow across east central Illinois. And you can see that on our Futurecast right now as I roll this forward for you. Pretty clear skies right now, but overnight tonight, those clouds are going to be starting to move in. Now around 3 a.m. tonight, they're starting to break down a little bit. Maybe we might get a little bit of sunlight through the sunrise hours tomorrow, but then some heavier cloud cover comes right back over the area during the lunch hour tomorrow, and then we're aggressively moving off to the east, leaving us with a clear sky for the nighttime on Thursday and for the next couple of days ahead. Now, again, this warm-up is going to be continuing only around the low 60s tomorrow, but for Friday and Saturday, these temperatures could be getting closer to 70 degrees, and that warm-up is going to be coming to a pretty abrupt stop as these temperatures are already going to be back down into the 50s on Sunday and even possibly into the 40s on Monday. And looking past this week, our 6 to 10 day outlook suggests that we will continue to see above average temperatures across a lot of the Midwest, including us here in east central Illinois. Now, taking a little bit of a pivot from the hot to the cold, Winter Weather Safety Week continues this week. We're going to be talking about a little bit of extreme cold safety tonight. Now, of course, if we do see those extremely cold temperatures outside, you should be staying inside and warm. But if you are going to be outside doing whatever, definitely be aware of the possibility of frostbite or hypothermia. In order to help avoid possible frostbite or hypothermia, make sure to dress in several different layers and to prepare your home heating for the season. That can mean cleaning out the fireplace or chimney or changing out your furnace filter. Any of those things you need to do to make sure that your method of heating for your home is up to spec for the winter season. Looking at our 7-day forecast, again, up for the next couple of days, including 72 degrees on Saturday. We do see some clouds back into the forecast for the end of the weekend and the start of next work week. Temperatures are going to be a lot cooler to start, 49 on Monday and 41 degrees on Tuesday. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a nice couple of days, especially on Saturday.
You know you live in Illinois when you talk about frostbite and then 70-degree weather in the same newscast.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Ben. Still to come. An unforgettable traveling exhibit makes a stop in Marshall.
But first, by the end of the week, somebody could be $1 billion richer. Thanks for watching. This is News Watch on WEIU.
Your local source for health news, information, and advice is Being Well on WEIU. Featuring your local medical providers from trusted centers of health. Join us Tuesday evenings at 7 on WEIU for Being Well.
In other news tonight, the city of Mattoon continues to provide water quality updates from Lake Mattoon following a summertime do not drink order. In July, water tests showed the presence of a harmful algae bloom neurotoxin in the city's primary water supply. Mattoon conducted another sample Monday, as recommended by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. That test came back negative for any harmful algae toxins. Test results can be found on the city's website. A unique traveling exhibit comes to Marshall. The 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit is in Clark County outside Harlan Hall on Locust Street until tomorrow afternoon. This exhibit honors all who lost their lives in the attacks of September 11th. The Tunnels to Towers Foundation says the exhibit is an 83-foot tractor that transforms into an 1,100 square foot museum and includes artifacts such as steel beams from the towers, recordings from radio transmissions, and documentary videos. The museum will be open to the public starting tomorrow at 3. The Mega Millions jackpot just got shy of $1 billion. So after no one matched all 6 numbers last night, the jackpot has reached $965 million. This amount has an estimated cash payout of $445 million. However, the odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in 290.5 million. Wow, that's a lot of numbers. The next drawing is Friday night at 10. Well, I'm anxious for that one, but I'm also anxious for tonight's sport headlines. And here with the latest is Pierce Lehman.
Thanks, Olivia. Tonight in sports, the Eastern Illinois men's basketball team faced a tough test, taking on an ACC opponent for the first time ever. But first, it's a high-ranking matchup early on the season for the Illinois men's basketball team. Can they keep the title as one of the best teams in the country? We'll answer that coming up in sports. Stay with us.
A production of WEIU TV, City Spotlight, covering the communities of Effingham to Robinson to Danville to Champaign to Decatur to Taylorville and places in between. For a past decade, City Spotlight has been talking with community leaders about what's happening in their local communities across central and southeastern Illinois.
Wednesday at 7 o'clock on WEIU.
We begin the night in Champaign as Illinois men's basketball plays its first ranked opponent this season. With about 8 minutes left to play in the first half, Zvonimir Visic lays down this filthy block, and the Illini are off to the races. Visic gets the balls back and lays it in for a two-pointer. But the star of last night's show was Andrei Stojakovic, taking this one in himself and setting in the layup. Fun fact, Andre is the son of NBA legend Peja Stojakovic. Skipping to the end of the second half, as it's Stojakovic again, laying in two more of his team-high 23 points on the night. Illinois is up by 3. The time is ticking. Kylan Boswell takes it himself, securing the lead for the Illini. The Orange and Blue stay on top in this one and defeat Texas Tech 81-77. Despite the win, head coach Brad Underwood knows there's still work to be done.
I think there's confidence in knowing that we got punched tonight. We saw that in the Florida scrimmage as well, and we reacted. I didn't think we had our A game tonight in some sense, but give them a lot of credit.
The Illini are still undefeated on the season, improving to 3-0. Up next, Illinois will finish out its homestead against Colgan on Friday, followed by the road contest against Alabama on Wednesday. Moving a state over to the Eastern Illinois men's basketball team. They play a prestigious program for the first time ever. Eastern is holding its ground early on, but Braden Shrewsbury makes sure to extend Notre Dame's lead. It's still early on, but Logan Ines isn't afraid to send a three-pointer of his own, and he sinks it, extending the Fighting Irish's lead. In the second half, EIU is still holding its ground, but Notre Dame defenses shine through. The Irish takes it down the court, and it's none other than Shrewsbury again seeking the three-pointer. But this is where Notre Dame takes over, and it's raining threes in South Bend. The Fighting Irish win this one 78-58 and improve to 3-0, while Eastern drops to 1-2. Despite the loss, Cooper Jacoby scores a team-high 20 points with 4 made from beyond the arc. Next up for EIU, they'll take on a ranked Kentucky squad Friday at 6. The EIU women's team is also in action, traveling to Terre Haute to play on the Sycamores, but they couldn't get it done, falling 90-69 against Indiana State. Eastern is only down by 5 points going into halftime, but in the second half, the Sycamores pull away with Tierney Kelsey scoring 22 points for ISU. Ava Stolier scored a team-high 13 points in the loss for EIU, her third straight double-figure scoring game. Up next for the Panthers, they stay on the road, taking on Michigan State next Thursday at 5:30. The Indiana Pacers are looking to get their season back on track as they travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. We start in the first quarter as Pascal Siakam gets the rebound and passes it to Aaron Nesmith, who does a step back and greens this three. After that, the Jazz go on a run, landing basket after basket after basket and taking a 23-point lead at half. Utah continues its dominance with Lauri Markkanen, who gets the ball and lays it in. Markkanen isn't done as he drains a three ball, and he ends the night with a team leading 35 points as the Jazz dominate Indiana 152-128. The now 1-10 Pacers travel to Phoenix to take on the Suns tomorrow at 8. Indiana State football is on the road to play another ranked opponent. This will be the final away game for the Sycamores this season. ISU travels to Iowa to take on the number 19th ranked Youngstown State. The Penguins lead the all-time series 26-8, including last year's 21-14 victory. The last time Indiana State beat Youngstown was in 2021, and that's too long for head coach Kurt Malley, who says a balanced attack on offense is key to the game.
Well, we're capable of both, and to be balanced, we got to be able to do both, and that it just helps one another when we do that. But we got to get the run game getting back to where it was earlier in the year, and we got to match it up with our pass game, and we're more than capable of doing that.
Quick correction, I said Iowa. They're traveling to Ohio. Indiana State comes off a 52-20 loss against Illinois State, while the Penguins look to take their second win in a row after beating Southern Illinois. The 3-7 Sycamores will look toward Rashad Rochelle, who recorded 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Finally tonight, the NBA has announced a new format for this season's All-Star Game, featuring U.S. versus the World theme. The game will be a round-robin tournament on Sunday, February 15th in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. That's all for sports. Olivia, Ben, back to you.
Well, also coming up, temperatures continue on an upward trend. Jeez. Ben Whitney will be back in a moment to talk about what could be near record highs this weekend. But first, a childhood classic comes to life in this storybook-inspired hotel suite. We'll show you more of this whimsical room in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
New tech has the old toys fearing for their futures in the first teaser trailer for Toy Story 5. The new film in the iconic animated franchise is due in theaters June 19th. It's fame and fortune or bust for Timothy Chalamet in the latest trailer for Marty Supreme. He plays a young man in 1950s New York determined to do whatever it takes to become a table tennis champion. The sports drama from director Josh Safdie opens in theaters December 25th. Merv stars Zooey Deschanel and Charlie Cox as exes whose attempts to cheer up their shared dog just might bring them back together again. The Canine Connection rom-com debuts December 10th on Prime Video. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, finally tonight, here is something to consider for your next vacation. The Sheraton Boston Hotel just unveiled its Goodnight Moon Suite. It's a full-scale replica of the Great Green Room from the beloved 1947 children's book by Margaret Wise Brown. The whimsical room, perched on the 24th floor with views of the Charles River, features green walls, red carpet, a glowing LED fireplace, and a working dollhouse. The suite also comes with other custom amenities, including a plush bunny for each child and turn-down service complete with milk and cookies served in a keepsake porcelain bowl. The Goodnight Moon Family Suite accommodates up to 2 children and 2 adults. It's available to book through February 2026. Well, some hot chocolate and cookies sound pretty delicious on this chilly night, but iced tea and fresh fruit might be back on the menu this weekend. Ben Whitney is back to recap a warming trend in central Illinois.
It'll definitely start to feel a little bit more like summer out there. Not quite the full thing, but definitely nice and warm this weekend. 33 degrees for our overnight low. Temperatures during the day tomorrow will be up around 61 degrees with winds blowing in from the south. And as you can see on our 7-day forecast, temperatures returning to normal by the middle of next week. As a final look at your Skywatch forecast, now back to the desk.
Thanks, Ben, and that's a wrap for tonight's edition of Newswatch. The Skywatch forecast can be found anytime on our website. And if you have a news tip for the newsroom, give us a call or send us an email. Coming up next on WEIU, BBC News, The Context. Good night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.